Hey Rick fans, welcome to Rick Bakery, where all our jokes are half baked. I'm Jacob, it's Space Month, and today it's time for Let's Build. Today we're having a look at the 4335 space rocket ride, which is a set from 2019. It consists of 150 parts and one minifig. This little Lego idea set was the winner of the Moments in Space building competition and was designed by MJ Smiley. And I got it as a free set with purchase when I bought the Apollo Lunar Lander, together with another freebie. But without further ado, let's have a look at this little build. And here we got the box of this set. On the front we of course see the main model right here. And this background looks wonderful. We can see the moon here in the distance, and there's some kind of horizon here. I'm wondering what that might be. Is this the Earth or some other planet? Whatever it is, it does look very interesting, and I like this starry sky here on the back. And if we take a look at the back, there's another little display here, a little illustration of how the play function works, and a little more in-depth look at what goes on with this ride. And again, this starry sky continues here on the back. Actually, it does continue all the way around here, which I find very, very, very well done. That's a great idea. I like this sense of a continuous starry sky. And here on the side, there's a small picture of the little boy working the coin-operated part of this build. So this is a great box. I like this. Inside the manual, there's actually a little meet the fan designer thing, a little interview or description. That's actually pretty cool. I like that. That's a great idea. Very well thought out. And here we can get a sense of how the mechanism works, how this little handle here makes the whole ride bounce up and down. This is actually very clever, very simple little design that is very, very effective. I have seen some who have tried to revise this design, and I think that turned out great, but I do like this one. I really like that there is a real mechanical play function in this set. That is very, very well thought out and a great idea in general. That was the bottom part finished. I like this. I really like how they've made this very, very smooth and only given room enough for this one to move around. That's very clever. Really like this design. Great idea. A great idea is to use these inverted slopes here on the bottom to give it this rounded shape. That's very good. Very, very well thought out. Good idea. Good idea. The finished 4335 looks like this. It's a small coin-operated kiddie ride that's shaped like a rocket. What strikes me first about this set is the wonderful use of color. Using red, dark blue and yellow in this way is a stroke of genius, I think. The yellow and the red guide your thoughts towards something very, very classic, whereas the darker blue really takes this build into the present day. The space rocket itself reminds me of 1950s or 1960s sci-fi movies, without me having seen too many of those. And overall there's this great sense of nostalgia surrounding this set, I think. I'm pretty sure most people remember riding rides like this while at a mall or some kind of convenience store. Personally, the one I remember riding was a small tractor that was orange and black, whereas this one is of course a rocket. With its 150 bricks, it is of course a very small build, but I think it actually managed to do a lot with such few bricks. So let's take a closer look at the model and the minifig. While the rocket part of this build has identical sides on front and back, the small base, the yellow base down here, is markedly different from front to back. And that's of course because there is a play function that needs a kind of handle to be operated. The main feature of the base of this build is of course these 3 stars right here and this little coin slot over here which activates the ride. I think maybe I would have used some snot bricks up here and placed more decorative elements, but I don't know, this does look interesting enough for me, and I think it's a great idea to use these star pieces with a rocket build like this. On the side there's of course this staircase that makes it possible for the minifig to ascend up to the ride itself. I've heard people critique this for being a little too big, that the steps are a bit too high, and I don't know what to think about that, but I have heard that critique. On the back there is no decorative elements at all, there's only this handle which activates the ride. And speaking of this handle, JC from Small Brick City has made a great little addition to this handle, which makes it a bit easier to operate this ride. And JC is also part of the BTN network, that's the BrickTubers network, which includes other LEGO YouTubers. And if you want to check out their channels, there's links in the description below. But the way that this handle is made makes it possible to attach power functions, so this ride can actually go automatically, which is a great idea, I think. The other part of this build is of course the rocket. I've already addressed the color scheme, but I will say again that I think this is a very great color scheme. Dark blue and red works very well together, and these green and blue transparent pieces are a great detail. And I like how they've kept a consistent color scheme, with the white being repeated here at the tailpiece and the dark blue being repeated here at the tailpiece as well, with these small wings right here. I actually like the way that these have been attached. That's pretty brilliant use of a modified 1x2 brick. And at the back there's also these 2 small engines which have some transparent pieces attached to it, so we can get the sense of some lights that's been installed to give the impression that this is a rocket going at high speed. The back of the rocket is identical to the front, so there's not much to say about that. And the inside is quite basic, just a small chair and a footrest. And of course this little transparent piece up here to look like a front window. I believe I've been told that this little footrest here is there because it's supposed to accommodate mini dolls as well as minifigures, but I think I would have preferred if there was a steering wheel or a couple of antenna pieces to act as steering. It would have looked a little more like the rides I remember, but for what it is, this is alright, I think. And I actually like the idea of trying to integrate the mini dolls in the minifigure universe as well. And speaking of mini dolls, I think there's a word to be said about scale for this ride. It does seem very big in relation to a minifigure. Maybe it seems a little more like the correct size for a mini doll. However, I have seen people who have reduced the size of this base here with great results. There's a guy called Sabadak which has made a video on how to do that, and you can check that out if you want to. There's a link in the description below. And we got the small minifigure right here. I do like the printing on his torso. That classic space looking print is great, and the small sleeves up here does look quite interesting. They are repeated here on the back to give the sense of a full shirt. His face print is cute, I've got to admit, and his haircut is kind of snazzy. There's no alternate face print though, but other than that I think this is a very nice little figure, and yeah, I think it's very fitting for this build. A ride like this is activated by coins, so you put in a coin in the coin slot like this, you go up the stairs into the ride, and then it starts going.
And then of course the owner of the ride can open up this coin box right here and have all the coins that's been put in there during the day. When all is said and done, I think Mark Smiley did a wonderful work designing this one. It has a great play function, great color scheme, and just great overall design. Some would pose some kinds of critique towards this one, but I won't. I think it is great the way it is. I think it'll work well in a Lego amusement park, or if you have a Lego city, it could be integrated there as well, or just as a display piece. I think this one works great as well. Thank you, Mark. Great work.
That was the 4335 Space Rocket Ride, and I must admit I really liked this set. Mark Smiley did a wonderful job. Great colors, great design, everything is just great about this one, and it's a wonderful little thing to get as a freebie, I think. But what do you think about this one? Do you like it? Have you gotten it already, or are you going to get it? Please let me know in the comments below. But that's all for me today. I hope you'll comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next Monday.